Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a crazy and shocking story to break down, one that has had the internet buzzing for months now. If you've been following celebrity news, you already know what's going on with singer Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner. But if you don't worry. I'm about to take you through the whole thing from start to finish. This is a wild case involving fraud, luxury items, a massive FBI raid, and now a federal conviction that could send both of them to prison for decades. This is one of those cases that started with a few rumors and has now exploded into a full-blown legal disaster. So grab your popcorn, because this is going to be a deep dive into everything that's happened, what the critics are saying, and what could happen next. And of course, as always, this video is for informational purposes only. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and we're just breaking down the facts as they've been reported. Alright, so let's rewind to May 2024 when everything started unraveling. Sean Kingston, the singer best known for hits like Beautiful Girls and Fire Burning, was living in a rented mansion in Southwest Ranches, Florida. Now, this wasn't just any house. This was a multi-million-dollar estate, filled with high-end luxury items like expensive watches, jewelry, cars, and even top-tier electronics. But here's where things started getting sketchy. Apparently, Kingston and his mother were running a scheme where they would order these high-priced items. Think Rolls-Royces, custom jewelry, and even a giant home entertainment system without actually paying for them. According to investigators, they would use fake wire transfers and false promises of payment to trick businesses into believing they had sent money when, in reality, they hadn't. Things came to a head when one of the scammed businesses, a high-end electronics company, reported them to authorities. This led to an FBI raid on Kingston's mansion in May 2024. Videos of the raid quickly went viral, showing law enforcement swarming the property, seizing assets, and eventually arresting Kingston's mother, Janice Turner, right there on the spot. Kingston himself wasn't home at the time. He was performing in California, but the moment he finished his show, he was taken into custody as well. That's when the internet exploded with reactions. Fans were shocked, critics started calling it another case of celebrities living beyond their means, and legal experts began speculating about what would happen next. Fast forward to July 2024, and a grand jury officially indicted both Sean Kingston and his mother on federal charges. We're talking serious charges, 1 count each of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 5 counts of actual wire fraud. And let me tell you, these are not minor offenses. Each wire fraud charge carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. If you do the math, that means Kingston and his mother were looking at potentially facing up to 100 years behind bars if found guilty on all counts. And to make things even worse, Janice Turner already had a criminal history. Back in 2006, she was convicted of bank fraud, which definitely did not help their case. Now, let's get into the trial, which took place in March 2025. Over several days, prosecutors laid out their evidence showing how Kingston and his mother had orchestrated a fraudulent scheme to live a lavish lifestyle without actually paying for it. They presented records of fake wire transfers, testimonies from business owners who had been scammed, and even messages showing Kingston reassuring sellers that their money was on the way. When, in reality, it never was. The defense, of course, tried to argue that this was all a misunderstanding, that some payments were made, and that Kingston and his mother didn't intend to commit fraud. But clearly, the jury didn't buy it. After just 3.5 hours of deliberation, they found both of them guilty on all charges. The moment the verdict was read, you could feel the weight of it in the courtroom. Janice Turner was immediately taken into custody. Judges considered her a flight risk, so there was no going home for her. Kingston, however, was allowed to remain under house arrest, with strict electronic monitoring until his sentencing, which is set for July 11, 2025. But even though he's out for now, things are not looking good for him. His bond was set at $500,000, plus an additional $200,000 in cash. That's a huge sum, but considering the value of the items he was accused of stealing, it makes sense that the court would demand such a high amount. Now, let's talk about the public reaction, because wow, people have a lot to say about this case. Fans are heartbroken, especially those who grew up listening to Sean Kingston's music. Many people are questioning how someone who had so much success in the early 2010s could end up in this situation. Others, however, aren't so surprised, pointing out that Kingston has been sued multiple times in the past for unpaid debts and sketchy financial dealings. Some critics are even saying this is part of a pattern, that Kingston and his mother have been doing this kind of thing for years, and it was only a matter of time before they got caught. And then, of course, there's the group that believes Kingston was influenced by his mother, that he was just following in her footsteps and got dragged into this mess because of her past criminal behavior. It's a huge debate right now, and opinions are definitely divided. But what happens next? Well, on July 11th, 2025, the judge will hand down their sentences, and things could go really bad for Kingston and his mother. While they might not get the full 100 years in prison, they are facing some serious time. Legal experts believe that, at minimum, they're looking at a decade behind bars, especially with the amount of money involved in this fraud case. Some are even predicting that Janice Turner could get a harsher sentence than Kingston since she has a previous fraud conviction. Either way, this is a major fall from grace for Sean Kingston, and it raises a lot of questions about how celebrities manage their money, the pressures of maintaining a certain lifestyle, and what happens when things spiral out of control. So what do you think? Were Kingston and his mother just trying to keep up appearances? Or was this a calculated scheme to scam people out of their hard-earned money? Do you think they deserve a harsh sentence, or should they get some leniency? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this case and other major stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.